Ready. At my words, Emily let out a hurried voice. What? No, hold on a bit. I tried to stop, panicking a bit, but it seemed too late. Sorry, I can't hold it. Too soon. In the end, I just couldn't wait and went ahead. Well, that's a lot. I can't even. While mumbling that, Emily was diligently wiping it up. But some had even gotten on her face. Finding her both amusing and endearing, I handed her a towel. This is the most memorable experience I've had with her. At the time, I had no idea we'd get into this kind of relationship. My name is Jake, 30 years old. I work as a pastry chef in our small family bakery. My dad, who used to be the owner, retired last year and is enjoying the countryside life with my mom. I've taken over the management of the store. I was a bit anxious, but the regulars still come, and my new cake recipes are always a hit. Work is going well. Then one day, I heard something from Mike, an old high school classmate. Rumor has it that Emily, the high school beauty queen, is working at a bar now. Emily was always the top of her class and a total princess. Flawless skin and silky hair. Her smile was angelic. She was so gorgeous that people whispered she could be a model or an actress. You had a crush on Emily, didn't you? Mike said, grinning cheekily. I did like her, but the thought of her working at a bar is unbelievable. Her dad's a CEO, and she comes from a well-off family. There's no way she's working at a bar, must be some mistake. Nah, man, it's her for sure, and get this, the place is sketchy as hell. Those words didn't sit well with me. I asked what made it sketchy, but Mike didn't answer. Come on, you're curious, right? Let's go check it out. Mike has always been pushy. I didn't really want to go to a place I knew nothing about, but Mike dragged me along to the rumored bar. On the way there, I was reminiscing about the times I liked Emily. We first shared a class during our senior year of high school. I knew her long before that because of her reputation, but we didn't actually start talking until we were in the same class. The most memorable moment was during the school fair when we were both in the cooking group. Emily and I were in charge of pancake toppings. She'd made the whipped cream in advance, so all I had to do was squeeze it. But while filling the piping bag, I noticed something was off. The whipped cream was way too runny. It was more like liquid than cream at this point. Before Emily could even finish plating the pancakes, the whipped cream started to dribble out. Is it coming out already? Hearing my words, Emily let out a flustered voice. What? No, wait just a bit longer. I tried to stop it too, but it was too late. Sorry, can't hold it. It's out. No, that's too quick. The whipped cream just spilled out. The cream splashed beyond the plate and onto the table. There's so much. Oh my goodness. Muttering to herself, Emily began to diligently wipe up the cream. But the moment I saw her face, I burst into laughter. She even had cream on her mouth. She must have touched her face without realizing her hand had cream on it. Even though she's universally acknowledged as beautiful, the sight of her with cream smeared around her mouth was both comical and endearing, making me laugh out loud. She seemed puzzled by what was happening, but when I pointed to my own mouth, she immediately realized, and her face turned beet red. Feeling a bit guilty for laughing so much, I quickly handed her a napkin. Sorry. We tried to squeeze the cream a few more times, but it was hopeless. This cream is too runny. Maybe we messed up the ratio of the ingredients. I'll quickly remake it. As I said that, Emily's face turned red again. What the heck? I worked hard on this. Wait, Jake, can you actually make whipped cream? Yeah, my family owns a bakery. I like making it at home all the time. Emily made a displeased face at my words. So, I quickly remade just the cream. The quality of the pancakes wasn't great, but it made for a memorable experience. But unfortunately, from that day on, Emily began to avoid me. I was really bummed out that the girl I'd been interested in started giving me the cold shoulder. Gathering up the courage, I asked, "Did I do something to upset you?" Her eyes filled with tears as she snapped, "Just stop talking to me, okay?" Was she mad because I laughed at the whipped cream on her face, or did I unknowingly do something else? Either way, I couldn't confirm because she wouldn't talk to me. And just like that, we graduated high school without resolving that issue. As I reminisced, we found ourselves at the bar. Mike had said it was a sketchy place, but it looked pretty normal to me. The place was clean, and the waitresses were very polite. I whispered to Mike, "This place doesn't seem bad at all, and Emily isn't here either. Let's have a quick one and head out." But Mike just ignored what I said and loudly requested, "Bring us your top girl, please." Just when I was thinking of ditching Mike and heading home, the #1 waitress in popularity came out from the back of the place. She was a real knockout, showing off her slim limbs and dressed in a sleek black dress. Her waist was so tiny it made me wonder if she was eating enough. I knew that woman. It was Emily, the girl I fell in love with in high school. When she saw me, her eyes lit up in amazement. "Wait, is that you, Jake?" "Emily." We both stood there, too shocked to move for a moment. I couldn't believe she was actually working as a cocktail waitress. Then she quickly noticed Mike. "Mike, I told you to keep it a secret." Annoyed, Emily said that as Mike chuckled and took a swig of his drink. "I've always been a busybody, you know. Have you forgotten?" I was totally baffled and didn't know what was going on. That's when Mike gave me a knowing smile. "Look, I fibbed about this being a sketchy place. I thought it'd pique your interest. I was brought here by some work buddies, and the place is really decent with lots of beautiful women. I knew Emily was working here the first time I came. She told me not to tell anyone, but I figured I'd bring you since you can't seem to forget about her." Sure, I can't shake off my memories of Emily even now. Every time I go out to drink with Mike, I find myself mumbling things like, "Where could she be now?" Or "You think she's married or something." Emily sat next to me and poured some drinks. As she handed me my drink, she said, "I really didn't want only you, Jake, to find out I'm a cocktail waitress here." I realized then that she didn't really want to be working here. I wanted to ask her why she was doing this kind of job, but she seemed reluctant to talk about it, so I didn't push it. When I told her I'd become a pastry chef and opened my own cake shop, she finally showed a genuine smile. "You own a cake shop? That's awesome, Jake. You're really making it." Her smile was even more angelic and mature than it had been in high school. "I'd love to try your cakes sometime." I enthusiastically responded, "Absolutely. Please come by my shop anytime." "Really? Are you sure?" "Of course, you're more than welcome." I didn't know whether Emily had a boyfriend or if she was married, but since we'd reunited, I wanted to see her again. A few days later, Emily actually came to my cake shop right before closing time. The weather was bad and business was slow, so I'd already put out the closed sign, but I let Emily take her time picking out what she wanted. "I'm really looking forward to this. I wonder if I can finish it all by myself." I went with the flow and asked Emily what she was most interested in an attempt to get some information out of her. "So, you have a boyfriend?" "Unfortunately not, just focused on work right now." Emily gave her eye smile, but hearing that she was single made me do a mental fist pump. Seeing Emily carefully holding her box of cake, I nervously offered, "Would you like to eat it upstairs? That's my living space. The rain is really coming down too." I made the suggestion, my nerves on edge, worried she might turn me down. She looked out at the rain for a moment before saying, "All right, I guess I'll come up for a bit." I couldn't believe my luck. Emily was coming into my home. We went upstairs, and as Emily took a bite of the cake, she began to cry. Just moments before, she had been laughing and talking. Her sudden tears took me aback. My heart tightened at the sight of her tears as she brought the cake to her mouth. "Emily, what's going on? I'm all ears." When I reached out to her like that, Emily started to open up, sharing her feelings bit by bit. "You see, I grew up without wanting for anything because my parents ran their own business. I even got accepted into a prestigious women's college, but during my time in college, the family business went bankrupt. That took a toll on my mom, who developed mental health issues because of it. My parents ended up moving to stay with my grandparents in Kentucky. I never saw that coming. We've had reunions since high school, but Emily never showed up even once. They couldn't take care of me anymore, so they left me behind." Emily understood her parents were going through a tough time, so she didn't hold it against them. "When I turned 18, I realized I had to live on my own. I quit college and looked for a job, but there were hardly any options with just a high school diploma. I couldn't afford the rent for the apartment I lived in during college, so I had to leave. That's how I ended up with my current job. They were okay with hiring high school grads and even offered housing. I can't imagine how tough it must have been for an 18-year-old girl with no family support, no home, no money, and no job. I was baking cakes at that time of my life, going to a vocational school on my parents' dime. It's heartbreaking to think that the girl I fell for was struggling just to eat. I regret that our reunion came so late." I just kept rubbing Emily's back as she cried. After the tears, Emily seemed a bit relieved. She probably hadn't shared this with any classmates, so she'd been carrying this burden alone. Maybe she needed someone to talk to about it. "Sorry for rambling on so much. We never even talked this much back in high school," Emily said, obviously wanting to change the subject. I thought it was a good opportunity to ask her about our high school days. "Do you remember after the school fair in high school, you became kinda distant? What was that about?" Emily made an awkward face at my question. "I didn't know you were the son of a bakery owner and good at cooking. I wanted to impress you with my cooking skills, but I messed up and felt awkward." I felt a huge relief knowing she didn't dislike me. And it made me wonder, did she have a soft spot for me back then? On our way home, Emily looked up at the starry sky and murmured, "I hope the day comes when I can work in the daylight and sleep well at night again." I couldn't help myself and tightly grasped her hand. "So, you can do it. If you want to get out, you can do it anytime." Emily squeezed my hand back. "Thank you. Is it okay if we keep holding hands just a little longer?" I walked Emily home that night, and we didn't let go of each other's hands until we reached her place. That's when I fully realized Emily's feelings for me. A surge of emotion filled me. I wanted to protect the woman I loved. The next day, after closing up my shop, I headed to the bar where Emily worked. It was still early, so the bar was in preparation. But I walked in anyway. "Jake, what's going on?" As I walked in, Emily, who was getting the bar ready for opening, looked surprised. The bar owner and other girls also looked at me with curiosity. Then I turned to the owner and bowed deeply. "Please let Emily quit after today, I beg you." To Emily's surprise, I told her to quit her job and that we would find a new job and a place to live together. "You can work at my bakery if you want, but no pressure. I'll help you find a place to live and a job that you actually want to do." Emily stood there, mouth agape. "You want me to work at your bakery?" I walked up to Emily and mustered my courage. "I want you to be my wife. Working at a bar requires a lot of practice and experience. I know it's rude of me to say you should quit, but I love you. I'm worried about you working at night. I want you to have a day job because I'm concerned about you. I love you." As I blurted this out, the room erupted in laughter from the owner and the other girls. What are they laughing so much? I wondered, looking at Emily, who was blushing and covering her face with her hands. Then the owner filled me in. "Turns out, Emily just told me she wanted to quit because she has a guy she likes and wants to try a day job. We all agreed she's too good for the night scene. Seems like you two are on the same page." Apparently, the owner and the girls were worried about Emily, their top cocktail waitress, who seemed to lack confidence. But it looked like Emily was ready to take the plunge even without my public declaration. I felt awkward and embarrassed. Then the owner gave me a solid pat on the back. "She's like a daughter to me. Make sure you make her happy." I nodded vigorously, yes, in response. I think Emily was able to make it through tough times because she met kind-hearted people like the bar's owner and the other girls there. I want to take everyone's feelings into account and be the one to support Emily from now on. After that, Emily started working at my bakery. Our part-time staff, who were always saying we needed another hand, were over the moon. We also moved in together. Emily mentioned looking for an apartment, but we both felt the same way about wanting to be together, so she agreed to live with me. About 6 months after we moved in, we started preparing for our wedding. When it came to announcing the engagement, Emily had already informed her parents over the phone. It had been a while since they last talked, so Emily was nervous about their reaction, but they seemed pleased. It turns out her parents felt they were to blame for her hardships and were emotional about it. They also revealed that they hadn't taken Emily to Kentucky because they had decided to file for bankruptcy. Filing for bankruptcy puts a lot of restrictions on you. They probably didn't want to make their daughter live a pool life. Emily had thought her parents had abandoned her, but it turned out that they did love her. Her mom's mental health has improved significantly, and any tension between us has also dissipated, which is a relief. As for my parents, they were thrilled as soon as I sent them Emily's picture, exclaiming, "You found a beautiful girl." Everyone from the bar has become regulars at the bakery. They say they come in often for the cakes, but it seems like they're really coming to see Emily. When we visited the bar to announce our engagement, they gave us a grand celebration, and I could see tears shining in the owner's eyes. And just recently, we had our wedding. It was a happy day for both our parents and everyone from the bar. The wedding was outdoors in a garden setting, under the bright sunshine. Emily, dressed in her wedding gown, looked absolutely angelic under the bright sun. Emily looks perfect in sunlight. I know I'll never forget this day wrapped in happiness.